The sun was dying over the horizon, spreading its last golden breath across the endless desert. The wind carried only silence, until something moved. A broken wheelchair lay half buried in sand, and beside it, a young girl, her lips dry, her eyes half closed, her soul whispering a silent prayer to the sky. She couldn't move. She couldn't scream. She had been left there, abandoned. But fate had another plan. Because somewhere out there, a lonely cowboy was riding home, and tonight, their lives were about to collide forever. Her name was Clara, a girl whose life had once been filled with laughter, piano songs, and dreams of painting the sunsets she loved. But one accident changed everything. It stole her legs, her family, her will to live. 2 years of silence had turned her heart to stone. And now her only company was the whisper of desert wind. She had been left by the people she trusted, told they'd return with help. But they never did. The desert didn't forgive the weak. Yet somehow she still hoped someone would come. Someone who wouldn't just look at her as broken, but as human. Far away, Ethan Walker, a cowboy with sunburnt skin and quiet eyes, was returning to his small ranch after trading cattle in town. Life had been simple and lonely. His wife had died 5 years ago, leaving behind an emptiness that no work could fill. He wasn't searching for anything anymore. But sometimes the lost find what they aren't looking for. That evening, his horse Duke stopped suddenly. Ethan frowned and saw something shining under the fading sun, a piece of metal, half covered by sand. When he moved closer, his heart froze. A wheelchair, and beside it, a girl barely breathing. He jumped down, lifted her gently. "Hey, you're gonna be all right," he said softly, giving her water from his flask. Her eyes fluttered open, deep brown, filled with fear. "Who are you?" she whispered. "Someone who couldn't ride past without helping," he answered. He wrapped her in his coat, lifted her onto his horse, and rode toward his ranch. The ride was long and quiet, but Clara never looked away from him. Maybe because for the first time in years, someone looked at her like she mattered. Ethan's cabin was small but warm, wooden walls, a gentle fire, and the smell of coffee in the air. He placed her on a bed near the window. "You can rest here till you're safe," he said. Clara looked down. "I can't walk, cowboy. I'll never be safe." He smiled faintly. "Don't say never. The world's still full of miracles." Days passed. Ethan took care of her like she was family. He cooked, cleaned, and even built a small ramp so she could roll out to the porch. He never asked her story, never pitied her, and that made her trust him more than she ever expected to. Sometimes she'd watch him work in the fields. His hat tilted low, his shirt soaked with sweat. There was peace in his movements. The peace of a man who'd known pain but learned to live anyway. One evening he sat beside her holding an old guitar. "Used to play this for my wife," he said. Then he began to play, soft, slow, full of memory. The sound floated through the air, melting into the sunset. Clara closed her eyes, tears slipping down silently. "It's beautiful," she whispered. He nodded. So was she. Something in his voice touched her deeply, because both of them had lost something they could never get back. And maybe that's why fate brought them together. Every morning she tried to move her toes, a tiny effort, a silent war. Ethan encouraged her gently, never rushing, never doubting. "Keep trying," he'd say. "Hope's a muscle too. It gets stronger when you use it." Then one morning she felt something, a faint twitch. Her heart raced. "Ethan, I moved," she cried. He came running, eyes wide, smile breaking through years of sadness. "Told you," he said softly. "World's full of surprises. But peace never lasts long." A few days later, a wagon stopped at the ranch. 2 strangers stepped down, her uncle and aunt. The very people who had left her to die. Ethan's eyes narrowed. "You know them?" Clara nodded, trembling. They abandoned me," the uncle spoke coldly. "We didn't mean to leave you, girl. But people are talking now. You need to come back." Ethan stepped forward. "She's not going anywhere she doesn't want to." Her uncle smirked. "You think she can decide?" "She's crippled." Clara's voice shook, but she looked up firmly. "Maybe I can't walk, but I can choose who I trust. And I trust him." The words cut through the air like thunder. The uncle cursed and left, dust rising behind his wagon. Ethan looked at her proudly. You were brave today. She smiled through tears. I was scared. He nodded. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's standing tall despite it. That night the desert sky was painted with 1,000,000 stars. Clara sat by the window, whispering to herself, maybe I wasn't abandoned after all. Maybe I was found. And for the first time in years, Ethan looked at the stars and smiled too, because sometimes two broken souls don't just meet by accident. They meet because heaven knows they can heal each other. And if you're listening to this story right now, remember this. No matter how lost or broken you feel, your miracle might already be on its way. Sometimes it wears a cowboy hat. Sometimes it comes in silence, but it always finds you. So if this story touched your heart, my friend, don't forget to subscribe.